It was the fall of 2009 when I saw the question mark on the wall of the Stetson Leadership Center. Rumors started buzzing that the question mark represented the new women's house of an unknown namesake. A few days later, Post-it notes began to appear around the question mark, suggesting the house of Sarah Palin, the house of Ann Hendershot, and my personal favorite at the time, the house of Sacagawea. I and 14 brave souls committed to creating this house centered on Christ's love to be an example to the King's College.
The 14 founding members divided up into two committees, namesake and community. Ariana Smith spearheaded the namesake team. Student development required the namesake to have specific characteristics like cause-centered or life-transformative. But the namesake team took those criterion a step further and added discerning, compassionate, and well-rounded. Katie Lushak led the second committee and wrote a 20-page long treatise on our philosophy of community. Our main conclusion was that the essence of our house, or the formal cause, if you will, was to be women who thrive in a city where so many merely survive. The two committees came together early in the spring of 2010 for a kickoff retreat. There at the King's Cabin, the new house would get their first taste of what a thriving community entailed. According to Shelley Klein and Kylie Humphreys, the first step was initiation. So after leading the girls a mile away from the cabin, blindfolding them, Kylie and Shelley left us in the freezing cold to find our way home. Mind you, it was January and there was snow on the ground. And as any survival-oriented, community-minded group of girls will tell you, the only solution in such a situation is to spoon each other while standing. So, with Corinne Cordasco and Andrea Mellinger at the head of our single-file line, a perilous journey ensued, only to be stopped short by a profound sense of hopelessness. How would we ever find the turn for the driveway to the cabin? Well, to rally the troops, Corinne stepped out of line and, drawing inspiration from the previous night's showing of Braveheart, yelled into the frigid air, "I'm sorry the English killed your women and children, but we will not lose hope. We will prevail." And so miraculously, in the spirit of Scotch warrior poets, the new house spooned their way home.
Returning from house retreat with a revised perspective on community, the founding members convened behind a locked door and closed blinds to finally vote upon the women who would decide the identity of our house. The namesake committee had narrowed the list to 3 candidates. The votes were as follows: Mother Teresa, 0, Abigail Adams, 6, and Corrie ten Boom, 7. Since this result was far from the unanimous vote that was required, a heated debate ensued between the remaining 2 candidates. The founders looked at the life of Corrie ten Boom and found in her story their own passion for a Christ-filled identity, a pursuit of community, and an enduring joy under adversity. It took 6 hours of Kingsian debate and persuasion, but once the founders finally settled upon Corrie ten Boom, they were sure that their choice was a good one, and in the 7th hour, they rested. The song Boom Boom Pow echoed through the basement walls in April when the question on the wall of student services finally became a living statement. The new women's house is Corrie ten Boom.
To solidify their existence as a house, the next order of business was to vote in the first exec team. Laura Harrod as president, Clara Limbach as scholar, Andrea Mellinger as helmsman, and Liz Christensen as chamberlain. After this, they chose a crest. Navy blue symbolizes strength, peace, and steadfastness. Yellow represents joy and energy, and green, thriving. They knew this was the right palette for the house, for when one balances the assurance of peace with the transcendence of joy, she is an individual thriving in the grace of God. The flower on our crest, the tulip, represents perfect love, which embodies service and forgiveness. A perfect fit for the house of Corrie ten Boom, as it is also the national flower of her native country, Holland. The fleur-de-lis is a symbol of truth and faith, as well as an icon of feminine virtue, a characteristic we derive from our runner-up, Abigail Adams. The Latin motto, Virtutum forum decorat, which means beauty adorns virtue, encompasses all our attributions and adorations. We don't want to be spiritually minded as, we don't want to be superficially beautiful, but we want our inner beauty to form our external beauty.
The foundation had been laid. The structure was set. The next step was to fill the house. That was left to the next generation, my generation, the baby boomers. We were told that we could make the house into whatever we wanted it to be. Was this perfect freedom or a premature load? We weren't just brand new students, we were brand new students in a brand new house. This was a daunting task, but it was also very exciting. No one looked down at us because we were young. That is, until we got dead last in the great race. But that didn't matter to any of us. We were excited to sit at the finish line and get to know one another for the first time. Community building continued at Fall Retreat. Brandon in our house memory for all time will have special and dear things to us, such as Laura Herod dressed as Corrie, dancing to Boom Boom Pow in the house competition. Also, our second initiation in the freezing cold Jersey Shore, where there may or may not have been streaking. That year, we also had several special events, including a brunch with one of Corrie's close friends. We also had a traditional Dutch Christmas party, as well as a rebellion over the rooftop. We also went swing dancing with Bonhoeffer, had a cook-off with Churchill, and played games with Reagan. As for Lewis...
So, Lewis, got any plans tonight? Bantering aside, come the spring of 2011, we saw that our house had grown from a crew of brave souls to a line of spooning warrior poets to a community, a true community with an identity. It was time to craft our mission statement. So, with the question of freedom versus burden that had so daunted our baby boomers at the beginning of our first full year as a house, it was no longer a question. We as upperclassmen trusted the underclassmen to craft the vision that would last for years to come.
We, the house of Corrie ten Boom, are sisters, sharing an adventure, pursuing truth, and thriving together. We value peace, joy, and valor.
After finishing in the top 3 of Namesake and winning Interregnum's art competition, the founding year concluded. A new exec team was elected with Claire Limbach as president, Becky Boss as chamberlain, later to be replaced by Christina Morgan, Alessandra Haynes as helmsman, and Laura Cook as scholar. We, the second generation, moved in, kept the tradition of losing the great race with maximum point deduction, and were initiated, like our predecessors, in the freezing cold.
Also this year, we had our taste of victory in the basketball competition, coming into the final round.
These were all memorable events, but they are only the outer layer. Remember, virtutum forma decorat, beauty adorns virtue. There is more at the center.
Starting a new house meant learning from other houses, stealing their ideas and taking chances on a few of our own. We were free to fail, free to experiment, and we did. But in the same way that Corrie created a hiding place for people to find safety, so we have created a haven for those who want to share an adventure, pursue truth, and thrive together. We are the house of Corrie ten Boom.